So we are prepping for glue up. And the first thing that we do is lay out our 2 bottom clamps at roughly the distance that we will need open for the first glue up. I also went ahead and put on some blue painter's tape on my rails to my clamps, which just sort of keeps the glue from sticking to it and sticking to the wood. Because the tape will rip off, it'll help it to not rip the wood apart in the event that it were to dry to the aluminum rails. So we're gonna go this way, or steel rails, I guess is what they actually are, looks like. Anyway, we're gonna go this way. We're gonna set up for glue up. I'll show you laying some boards out and kind of determining which direction we wanna go, putting the glue on, and then clamping them up. Here we go. So I've laid all of my boards out. I look at each side and the pattern going with it or not going with it, kind of try to determine what's going to look the best or more natural. I also don't want the knots to end up like right in my cut for my 22.5 degree angle. So I flip-flop, and look to see what I think I visually looks like it would be the best. Kind of try to get the grains to flow into each other if possible. Sometimes it would be wiser maybe to take your boards and rotate them so that as your grain is coming off of one board, it looks like, as your grain is coming off of one board, it looks like it meshes into the other boards. It really is going to depend on what you are seeing here as to what is going to float for you. Or if you have a client that is ordering this, taking a couple pictures of the layouts and sending them to them and marking them as 1, 2, 3 or something, and having them choose, I like this one or this one or this one. Let them maybe have that ability to choose. I like it whenever you get patterns like this, where you kind of get it going out almost like a book match type thing, though it's not. I still like those kind of looks. So I think we're gonna go like that. I believe that's how we're gonna go. All right, let's get the glue up, which means that we're gonna take this board, set it up like that because I want glue going down this side of it. This board and set it up like that because I want glue going down that. Glue on that one. And glue on that one. The last board will stay setting there because it's going to use the glue off of this joint or off of this board. And I'm going to get a cameraman to come over while I get the glue going. And I'm going to show you a little trick that I'm going to do for putting my glue on.
Good.
So, what I'm going to do is take 2 small clamps and just kind of pull them together. I have no seams in here. I have no seams so that the glue can't drip down. And now I'm going to take my bottle of glue, which I use Type Bond 3 because it's a water resistant glue. I've heard a few folks talk about Type Bond 2 instead of Type Bond 3 and Type Bond 1 instead of Type Bond 2 or 3.
So,
this is just what I started using based on what anybody else had recommended at the time that I ever started my first glue. I just take my fingers, make sure that I get glue down to the end. All over everything. We want a lot of glue. We would rather have the stuff coming out than not get a good bond. Now what we're going to do is undo our clamps. You don't have to move super fast, but we're going to fold down board 1 right over here next to our board. Board 2. Board 3. Board 4. Down for a total of 5 boards. Now then, move them up. Try to keep them all flush with each other. Move our clamps in. And then we will start putting a little pressure on and then putting it where it's supposed to be as far as the boards. The wet rag that we're going to be using in a minute, that is for wiping off the glue that's going to squeeze out on us. We want to kind of stay flush the whole way around so we don't have as much extra work to do to clean it up later, straightening anything out. Thank you. Alright, so what we're going to do so that we can see where our seams are going together, and you've got time, working time with the glue. So don't be afraid that it's going to automatically dry on you unless you've had it setting up for quite a while. You should have some working time with it. Alright, so now we can see our seams. And we're going to go through kind of this filling, making sure that we're pretty close to right. Pretty good so far. Let's tighten up a little bit. I like to go equal pressure from clamp to clamp. See, we're starting to squeeze out a little more glue. It's exactly what we want. It's telling us that our seams are lining up and that we will have a good bond between them. But as I'm going, I'm going to be wiping off and checking, like right here, where that seam was just a little high. The less glue I have on the top of this thing, the better off we are, because it'll need less cleanup. Let's give it another little turn here. A little more glue squeezed out. Our seams. Once we've got a pretty nice tight grip there, now we're going to take it, come a little further to the outside, over the top. Just a choice. Check my seams on the ends before I tighten up on this. So once I'm tightened up, it'll be staying there. If you come over here and watch this seam right here, we're going to pull it nicely together, get a little more glue squeeze out. We don't want to put over pressure, but we do want to get a tight seam which it looks like we're getting pretty good, because we're getting glue squeeze out from every spot, which is exactly what we want. Is the glue squeeze out means that we are tightly bonding, or tightly against each other, and that's what we need. Wrap it all up.
Bowing?
Keep the board from bowing out, or up, or down. Now that should eliminate us from having any bows and stop the nailing. Should eliminate us from having any kind of bows in our glue up. Alright, so once our glue up is complete and dried, we're looking pretty good, but we got to clean up the bottom side. And so I'll show you my mistake, okay? Right here, see that pull up right there? You know why I did that, or how I did that, is because I did not put the blue tape on the bottom. I did on one, I did not do it on the other one. And so it caught the metal rail, and it hung to it, and it ripped my board. So for now, we've got to get the glue up. And so for that, I just say, just use a little chisel. Okay, I'm going to blow it off. We're going to get the sander real quick. Start off with the standard 80 grit. Get it broke down just a little bit. Remember, this isn't for final sanding. This is just to get the glue off, make sure all of our lines are flush and straight. And then we're going to move to a 120. So we're going to roll with that, put it on, match up our holes so that our dust ends up in the bag and not in our face.